just going to get judged? Like, why did God create me just to test me and judge me? That doesn't make sense. But that's what I was taught, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's I grew up Lutheran Missouri Synod, and it was pretty much exactly the same. And I think that's pretty much every faith and religion has used that to control us.
Totally.
I remember saying that says if you don't love yourself, then nobody gonna love you, you know?
Right.
And it's a fact because love starting with self first. That's why I love, in a sense, when Donald Trump was saying MAGA, make America great again, I even went deeper with that. It's make yourself great again, you know? It's all about the personal self that you get to make yourself way, way, way better version than you were. And that's exactly what happened. I noticed with most people after they have these experiences, out of body experiences, and whether it's NDE, astral projection, lucid dreaming, all these things, they all have this aspect of not only to love themselves more, but to love people around them more. Even that's why exactly the love of God is his forgiveness. Actually, that's the only thing he has. He has not much in that. So that's the way he functions. It's the only thing, forgiveness. And that's why when we get these experiences, we are surrounded by that, you know, intense love that people describe all the time, that, you know, oh, well, I feel that love, incomparable love, unconditional love, because it's his forgiveness that creates that love, actually. And that's one of the lessons I learned when I had my experience, in a sense, because as I was moving towards life, I was maybe a bad person in a sense too, you know, because I was working in the entertainment industry, and then you know how things can get crazy fast in that world, and then it was getting crazy for me, and then doing a bunch of nonsense, make people do a bunch of nonsense too, and I was like, at some point, why am I doing that, and why am I making him do that to those things? And it didn't make sense, and I cried out. I was mad, angry, and I summoned death, and death showed up to my doorsteps and saying, "Hey, you want the experience? I'll tell you what it is." And that's what exactly. That's why I'm so. Ever since that happened to me, I'm leaning towards learning more about people that die in their sleep. Actually, because I saw this actor that died recently, Carl Weathers. He died in his sleep, and to me, I know that he crossed the gates. Definitely, it can't be any other thing. He did cross the gate. So otherwise, he would have been back just like I did. Because you don't cross the gate. You don't cross the gate. That's the thing. But at some point, if you will arrive at some point in life where, you know what, it's all done. I'm done. I'm done things. I'm okay with what I've lived for, with what I've accomplished, or whatever problem we have, then crossing the gate is easy. It's easy. But for me, it was not, because I was only 30 years old, and now it was not an option. But I guess it did, and I'm very, very. I'm following these things, and I don't know if you know that the movie Madam Web came out last Friday, or the week before, and what nobody knows, it's a movie about near-death experience, actually.
Oh.
It's a Marvel, it's a Marvel movie, but it's a near-death experience movie.
Madam Web.
And you should check it out. I recommend it. You're gonna say, wow, that's crazy, you know? And I mean, that's why you see all these reviews, the negatives, because people don't understand it. Because they think it's all the actions, the spiders, the web slinging actions and stuff, but it's not. It's all about a woman that had a near-death experience and that got some powers afterwards. That's it. And she can predict the future. She can see things. She has premonitions and all these things. But as you know, the world is not keen to see good things. They only see bad things. Oh, well, you know what? Gee, nobody killed nobody in that movie, really. So it's not entertaining. But in the end, it's a very, very, very deep movie, and I recommend it. So I took pleasure in watching it, and I don't regret it.
So she basically got all
Uh,
her gifts and abilities that we all have.
Mhm.
She just was able to
well,
get
I
them
mean,
back.
that was crazy. That's crazy. She drowned actually. She drowned, and then she got resuscitated. And next thing you know, she started having these flashes in her head. And to tell you, I am like that in a sense because I can see things that's gonna happen. I
Yeah.
feel death when death gonna happen. I can tell. Well, just like with my girlfriend, even before my NDE, I remember I told her we had this dream. I had this dream where we went to that wedding, and then I woke up and I called her right away. I said, "Hey, babe, you know what? We're going to a wedding." She said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah, somebody's gonna get married." Okay, 1 month passed, 2 months passed, 3 months passed, 4 months, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. And at the 11th month, she called me. Oh, my cousin invited me to a wedding. I said, there we go. There we go, and then everything went accordingly. We went to the wedding, and as I saw everything in the dream, the chandeliers, the lights, everything, it was the same way. And I was like, well, there we are again. See,
Yeah.
so these things they manifesting in different levels, and not many people pay attention either. So that's pretty phenomenal, and that's the perk of being in that situation, but you have to come out of it. That's a perk of being dead, but you have to come back to life and then get
In this
to know
body.
your powers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I tried to go through the gate a couple of years ago when I was in an out of body experience. Although I didn't see it as a gate. I was up there with my guide up there, in there, whatever. And I said, can I stay? And he said, I said, I want to stay with you. I want to stay here. Why can't I stay? And he says, no, you're 2/3 of the way done. This was like 3 years ago. So 2/3 of the way. I'm like, okay. Couldn't you say 99%? No, not that I love my life, but yeah, when you're there, you want to stay. 2/3 of the way means another 30 years. I'm like, thanks a lot. But I tried. Yeah. That's I mean, it's interesting. I find that a lot of near-death experiencers have talked about that. And actually, when I was a kid, I was able to also have premonitions, even before my NDE when I was 9. And I think it had to do with the programs that I was in, but I didn't know at the time, right? Because they do choose children that have profound or abilities that are out of the normal, I guess. I don't know. But I find that a lot of NDEers come back and are able to have psychic abilities and premonitions as well. Was that with you too, Suzanne?
Yeah, everybody that I've ever spoken to that had an NDE came back with some sort of gift.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I know on my journey of understanding things, there was another movie that helped me a lot with Robin Williams. I think it might have come out in the late 90s or so, What Dreams May Come,
I remember
where he's
Amazing
that
actually,
movie.
movie. I
in
remember.
heaven. And it's like
Yeah.
what he believes is what he creates.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mm.
and
That was a fun movie.
I
Mm-hmm.
believe that. I believe that, yeah, if you believe you're going to hell, that's the experience you're going to have. If you believe you're going to go to heaven and it's going to be a beautiful experience, that's what you're going to have.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to loving ourselves and what we think we deserve.
Yeah. Yeah, because
And
his
I
wife in that movie.
even in the Egyptian, where they show us, the weighing of the heart compared to the feather, it's what we think. They're weighing our own heart, what we think of ourselves.
Right.
The worthiness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that seems to be working with people in my practice, that and with myself actually, with working with Yeshua, was not feeling worthy of God's love. I mean, it's in our programming. It definitely is in our programming, you know, from
Yeah,
religion and all kinds of things.
we're born into sin according to pretty much every church there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how can an innocent baby with no memory of any previous or future lifetime be anything but innocent?
You know what I believe that's about? I believe that's
Yes.
about being raised Catholic and knowing what they teach. Although I wasn't a good Catholic, but I believe that they turned that around to because we're born with our past life programming, what we haven't healed in other lifetimes, what I've learned, okay, what Yeshua showed me and taught me. He says we have one life, but many bodies. So we have many experiences. And what we don't heal in that lifetime, because our lifetimes have been cut short, we used to live a lot longer. What we don't heal in that lifetime, we carry with us into another body, into another life. That's what I believe that's about.
Yeah.
And that the church has turned around to make it that, you know, we're born in sin type of thing.
Yeah. And it's the church's control method.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Because how could a
Yeah.
child be
You know,
born
in my
bad?
sorry to cut you off.
No,
I was
you're fine.
saying
Go
that
ahead,
in
Amir.
my upbringing, so I grew up in an Islamic household, and my religious teachers, they weren't, you know, big on discussions and, you know, questions and, you know, delving deeper into certain things. It just, this is what it is, and this, because it is so, it is so. Like, you don't question it, you just take it for what I'm saying, and this is what you need to believe. Because if you don't believe it, you're going to go to hell. And so for me, what they were explaining is that you are born and you only have this one life. This is your only chance that you're going to get. So you were born, and this life is a test. And at the end of this test, if you fail, you will go to hell for all of eternity. If you know, scrape through, you will experience heaven. You know, so it was almost like a losing battle. How do you remain completely, you know, free of all of the sins and all the bad stuff in the world we're living in? Like, you cannot even look at someone else and have a negative thought of them, you know, and or maybe look at someone and find them attractive. Let's say you are married and you look at someone on the TV, you know, like an actress or whatever, and you're like, oh, I find this person attractive. Sin, you go to hell. You know what I mean? Like, it was so strict, it was so defined. Like, you are not allowed to step out of line because this is your only chance you get to do this. And for me, I felt like that was just the biggest load of nonsense I've ever heard. How am I born into a test and then I'm just going to get judged? Like, why did God create me just to test me and judge me? That doesn't make sense. But that's what I was taught, you know?
Yeah.
And that's I grew up Lutheran Missouri Synod, and it was pretty much this exactly the same. And I think that's pretty much every faith and religion has used that to control us.
Totally. Yeah.
And prevent us from connecting to the divine, particularly without their assistance.
Oh, right. And we find that the
without fear.
Yeah. And the ones that are, you know, pushing this doctrine on us are the ones that are sinning the most.
Essentially.
Yeah. It's part of that system that's falling.
Because that's another thing that
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying that's another thing that we are taught is to fear God. Like, why do we need to fear him if he loves us and he accepts us unconditionally? Like, there's no reason to fear that. You know, what is there to fear? But it was very much, if you do not fear God, you know, you will go to hell. So that was another thing I just could not wrap my mind around.
No, it doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm so happy that NDEers feel comfortable talking about their experiences now. Yeah. It took me 10 years to talk about mine. To actually share.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, to understand it first and then share it.
Took me over 40.
Anyway. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, it's
Actually closer to 50.
mhm. So we're living in amazing times.
So what made
Yes.
you make the decision to share?
Pardon me?
Me,
Why did you decide to share?
it just a lot of it had to do with the fact that I didn't want other families to treat their children the same way I was treated. I want families, parents to be open to understanding and accepting and truly listening to their children. Because a lot of times they're, a lot of born with the connection to divine. It hasn't been severed yet in some way. By church, school, all that. And it's, and I think particularly children with NDEs are the ones that, in my opinion, and maybe this is, because that's been my personal experience, but they're the ones that seem to be struggle the most with it. Yeah, and not sharing it for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, until, in my case, until
Wow.
my father passed. He passed in 2018, and it was, right around, 2019 when it was really when I started sharing. I had been saying I'd had an NDE, but I didn't share any details about it. Yep. And really before that, the only thing people asked was, they were curious what caused it. They didn't ask about even what the experience was. They just wanted to know why I had, what happened to me that I had it.
Mm.
And it's like, that's not the important part.
Yeah.
What
and
happens
that's not the most exciting part either, for me.
No, it's not.
People are just so obsessed with the physical realm, the material realm sometimes. Yeah, totally. But you kind of had an NDE recently, didn't you, Susan? I mean, who knows? You might have had it. You might have
brush. Yeah,
Divine
I had a week ago today, I had a very close call in an auto accident. I was driving down the interstate on my way to go see my grandchildren. My two granddaughters were going to be competing in a gymnastics meet, and we're having a very light snow here. It didn't even amount to an inch, but there was a little bit of slush on the road in some different places, and I was going slower as a result. So the speed limit was like 70. I was going like 60. But I was next to a semi and it fishtailed the trailer just a little bit and it bumped me and sent me in a complete tailspin. And I ended up going clear in through the median across the other, side of the interstate, going the other direction, and went into the ditch and completely totaled my car. And it happened so fast. I'm literally screaming at the top of my lungs, "Angels, God help me." And by the time it was done saying that, it was over. And that I didn't hit another vehicle in the process. Another vehicle that saw it stopped, and they said I probably missed another vehicle by, he said, 6 feet or less. It was that close.
Wow. And your body is fine.
Yeah, a little banged up, a couple of bruises, still, tender here from the seatbelt. But, I've been to the chiropractor and he said, yeah, we'll need a few adjustments, but that's it.
Right.
And like
That's
every
crazy.
window in the car broke. That, I didn't, not even a cut, nothing. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. So it's how, the human body is very resilient, but yet very fragile at the same time, and things can change so quickly.
Yeah. And we were talking earlier about
And it was
divine
definitely
intervention.
divine intervention too.
Right.
Yeah, just me saying that, calling out to my angels and God at that moment. Yeah.
Sometimes I need a heads up.
Yeah, make sure, I was just trying to make sure I was being watched over at at that specific moment.
Make sure they're not on their phone, on their cell phone. Believe it or not, I had an out-of-body experience one time where I went to a neighborhood and they were on cell phones. That was a belief system territory where they were using cell phones in the afterlife.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I even said to this one man, I
Wow.
said, "Why are you using a cell phone?" He said, "Oh, we use them here." So you don't have to use a cell phone. He goes, "Yeah, we use them here." That's talk about being attached.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds like, yeah, I know they say in what was referred to as 4D or fourth dimension, it's just, there's still a lot of physicality and different things,
right.
3D objects needed because the people have not moved past that understanding yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Right. That's why I believe the more we know here, like you were talking about, Reed, knowledge, the more we know here about our soul and how we can lift up and get to the much higher planes, the heavens, heavenly realms, the easier the better the dying process,
And the
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah.
the easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the higher we can
Yeah.
go and reach the
Mm-hmm.
heavenly realms. So we don't
Yes.
get attached because we have attachments here. And as
Mm-hmm.
long as we let go of our attachments,
Yeah.
so all right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I actually have a question for Susan.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, I
Is
was
it
just
are we
gonna
time up?
go around the room and ask
I
anyone if they wanted to share anything before we close. Yeah. Go ahead, Amira.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to ask Susan, how do you like, since you can see angels, you can see everyone's angel, do everyone's angels look alike? Or is there a connection between how the angel looks and what our physical body looks like? Like, what is that connection?
I actually
I
have
love that question.
this is how I see them.
Wow.
It's like seeing that ray of sunshine between the clouds. So I do draw them much more intensely than I see them. And almost all of them have their arms outstretched like this because they're ready to exchange energy or embrace at any moment. But what's unique about each one is first the wing, or what we call wings. Beings made of light don't need wings. And something I started seeing, oh, it's probably been about 4 years now, is that, I don't know if you can see, is right down the center. There is what is referred to as light language, which is more of a language of energy than it is of words. And it's, also very much about frequency, which isn't, is how one of the ways that angels even speak to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, so it's like what we call wings is what's unique about each and every one, and that light language is a little bit different. And some and a lot.
I love that Angel has a kitten and a
Wow.
kitty and a dog
Okay.
there in its robe.
Yeah, this is one that does, looks out for our pets, our animals.
Beautiful. That's cool. That's so gorgeous. Wow.
And it's like, and here's another one. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So just even
Scales.
just see how different they are, just these two.
So people can contact you, correct, to commission you to
Yes.
draw their angels? Nice.
Mm-hmm. They can find me through my website, susanwalterart.com.
Nice. Gorgeous.
That is the best job in the world. You draw angels.
I know, right? How can you beat that?
Yeah.
It is so, and people ask me, it's like I'm at, say, an event where I'm doing a number of them throughout the day. And asked me, well, is it draining? I was like, actually, no, it's actually just the opposite. It can be very uplifting.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
How could it not be working with angels all day long,
Yeah.
every minute of the day?
Mm.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for
Because I
being
assume you
here.
have to tap into that energy to even see it. So it's energizing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Very
Yeah,
much so.
totally. Okay, I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
around the room and ask you to share anything you would like to share that maybe you hadn't yet about yourself, and if people can contact you, if that's all right, and about the book. So Susan, I'll start with you.
Like I said, my website is susanwalterart.com. You can reach me through there. But yeah, find a way to take care of yourselves, to honor honor this life and your body. If nothing else, find a way to meditate, even if it's only 5 or 10 minutes a day.
Thank you. Amira.
Yeah, so I just want to remind everyone to go and get their pre-orders for our book, Death. The publishing date is March 21st, and you can get your pre-order at neardeathinstitute.com/death, the book. And it's near death with a dash in between near and death. So neardeathinstitute.com. And yeah, I'm super excited for the book, and I'm super excited to have featured all of your stories. And I'm very proud of it. So go get your pre-orders.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Reed.
Yes. Well, actually, I have a website that is under construction, on the build now. It's coming through, and also there's this whole book situation that where we're not expecting it, and now it's coming along where I'm gonna post my new website, not well a website as well, but a Facebook page with an Instagram page related to the book and other subjects regarding the near-death experience situation. And in the meantime, they can always find me on my page on Readmores /Facebook and Instagram. But to tell you, the book is almost out. We got a month to go. And I have a lot of people that are excited about it, and then they cannot wait to read it. Especially the skeptics that always refuted those subjects. And definitely definitely it's gonna be an awesome project, and everybody gonna find something in it. And I really appreciate the invitation for today, Sharon, and glad to see Susan, glad to see Amira, and so far we are doing it very, very good.
Yes, yes, thank you, and we'll do this again, believe me. This isn't our only
Amira, Sharon, thank you for what you do. Thank you.
Oh, well, it's my honor and pleasure, and thank you everyone for being here. Thank you everyone for watching. I will have everyone's details down in the descriptions and everything down in the description. Details in the description, I'm trying to say. Yeah. So thank you for being here, and stay tuned. Our book's coming up, and I'll have the pre-order link down there as well. All right.
Indeed.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Bye.